But I want to bring in Scotti Nell Hughes, former Trump campaign surrogate and conservative political strategist, and Scott Bolden. He's a NewsNation political contributor, former chair of the D.C. Democratic Party. Great to have you both here. Scott, I want to start with you. You think I'm totally off the base here, that this is maybe not just a negotiating tactic? Again, aim high, aim extreme, maybe expect something a little bit more moderate and real. Am I totally off base?
No, I don't think so. You know, you and I are lawyers. We've negotiated a lot of settlements of cases, and this is a fundamental negotiation tactic, except Donald Trump puts it, as a president, puts it in really strong political terms and world issues. So I don't think you're off base at all. When I first heard the proposal, I thought it was just entertainment. I thought he was just riffing, and then he got real serious about it. And the other thing I thought was, well, that's impossible to do. He couldn't put American interests right there in Gaza. One, he's not going to displace all of these Palestinians, whether they support Hamas or not. What are you going to do with Hamas? And by the way, Jordan and Qatar and the Egypt aren't taking the Palestinians, and so it's going to be impossible, difficult, if not impossible, to do that. And so I've learned over the years to do just what you just recommended, to listen and then watch what he does or see what he's trying to hide when he aims high.
Scott, details. Who thinks about the details? No, but the truth is, there's the truth. Scotty, here's the thing. When you think about that, could this bring countries like Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Egypt to the table? And when you think about the fact that a lot of these countries are not welcoming in the Palestinian people, does this now say this is a wake-up call? Maybe we have to look at this a little bit differently.
Absolutely. And after the last 4 years in the administration, Donald Trump has made it clear he wants to do something completely different from what the last administration has done, because it did not work. We still have war and turmoil in the area. I do believe that Donald Trump, being the businessman that he is seeing this from a business perspective, saying that if I can get the economics of the situation and all of the surrounding countries, the Arab countries, to start investing in this area, something they have completely neglected, at least for the last 4 years, then they're going to take a toll, and they're going to take a step up and have the right to demand peace and action in the area, not only from those that live in the area, but also from the Israeli government as well. So I think this is just the art of the deal at play.
You would think that the art of the deal, maybe everybody else knew what was going on. I just want to play you number 3. This is Caroline Levitt, maybe backtracking a little bit.
The plan was written in the president's remarks last night as he revealed it to the world and to the American people.
Yeah, I don't think they had any idea, Scotty, what he was going to say. And if you are negotiating, wouldn't you tell your counter people?
Absolutely not, because here's the deal on this side. He's not on the Israeli side. He's also not on the Arab country side. He is coming at this trying to create an equal table for both sides. And so, yeah, I think Netanyahu was completely surprised by this. I don't think Caroline Levitt was backing up. And as we've learned, you go to Trump's words. Trump's words, no one else around him, but Trump's words are the only ones that matter. And I think he's trying to create as balanced of a table to bring both parties to.
I'm keeping both of you guys because I have another topic I want to talk about. But, Scott, just want to give you the quick word, 30 seconds. I mean, what would be a middle ground solution here that he's been looking for?
Well, the Arab countries are going to rebuild Gaza, and Israel and the U.S. support is going to rebuild Gaza. The real issue that he's not talking about is, what do you do with Hamas? How do you eradicate Hamas? You've demolished the Gaza, but Hamas still exists. And so if you can solve that riddle, then I'm all for Donald Trump and the art of the deal. It's just not realistic right now.
I think he took a wake-up call to how bad that region is. I think Steve Witkoff kind of laid it out for him about how destroyed it is. How do we build it up? But there are serious issues about how you actually do that. Listen.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.